didn't say whisper, I said talk. See, the one thing they taught me in college when you're becoming a teacher, they said, first concert, do all the work, put out all the stands, put out all the chairs, take care of all the equipment, do everything. So then the wonderful custodial staff that we have here, when they see, wow, that guy, man, he really works like a dog, like, he does everything. Then the next concert, they're like, no, we got it, we take care of it, because then they can see you really care and you're passionate. So this is the Crest Jazz Band. Give them a round of applause. focused on Latin. Last year we focused on swing, and this year we focused on rock, and then next year we rinse, wash, and repeat over again. That featured this Alison Malmquist on alto saxophone, wave. And it also featured Mr. Crest on trumpet. And where did Irene go? Irene Kim. Where's Irene? Irene had that little solo on the piano. The next one we're going to do is called Caravan, and Caravan is a jazz standard. It's very difficult, very challenging. A lot of the other band directors in the area, we try to do jazz standards, but there are some that we just kind of shy away from because anybody in the jazz community, they know the chart. I can remember years past having a conversation with somebody else about another piece, and they're like, oh, we know that. And I turned to the director and I said, yeah, but they don't know it. So even though we've heard it for 20 years, they need to hear it, they need to experience it. So Caravan, that's going to feature some of our trombone players. It's going to feature Patrick Hinkle on trombone, Athena Peterson on trombone, Deanna Rick on trombone, and wait, I'm blanking out, I'm getting old. Oh man, I'm really blanking. Craig Pierce on trombone. Sorry, it's been a long day. And it's also going to feature Mr. Nevin Allen on, what do you play? Tenor saxophone. And am I missing anybody? I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh, and Sarah. This is Sarah Steffi. Sarah Steffi on trumpet. Do you review? Okay. Awesome. Here we go. This is Caravan. Latin. Duke Ellington. Beautiful. Ready, Bones? Fair. Scarborough Fair being, I guess, famous by Simon and Garfunkel. Is that right? Yes, thank you. Okay, confirmation is good. And I just came across this, and just kind of like a rock ballad. That's something else. My colleagues are like, never do a ballad. I'm like, why? Why not do a ballad? Why not? So this is kind of, more of a rock ballad. This one's going to feature Nick Mancini on alto saxophone and Preston Zigfuss on trumpet. Our other trombone player that had the solo, he was unable to be with us this evening, so we're just going to do the two solos, okay? So Nick and then Preston, and then we go right on, okay? So this is Scarborough Fair. I would just like to say thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. I know it's a very long night. Some of the 6th graders on stage and the 7th and 8th graders, they've been playing a long time tonight, and it's very warm. They've done a dynamite job. Very proud. This jazz band this season has been the closest thing to, I don't want to say perfection, but they were very strong. They were a tight band. I knew, like, once I saw who was going to be in the band, I'm like, this is going to be a really tight group of individuals, and they really work well together. You see me a lot of times, I'm not in front of them. They know their music inside and out, and that takes a lot of skill, so I'm very proud of them. I would like to thank our superintendent, Mr. Frank Gallagher, for all his support for the arts. Our principal here, Mrs. Katie McCoy, and our assistant principal, Mr. Jeremy Miller, that was here with us this evening. Give him a round of applause. I would like to thank the music faculty here at Indian Crest, Mrs. Brennan, Mr. Frieda, Ms. Kratz, and Mr. Kujala for all their support. And we work really well together. And I'd like to thank custodial staff for all their help, either moving the sound shelves, the lights, the sound. We always have something that goes awry, and they're always there to save us. And I'd like to thank my students. Thank you very much for everything that you've done over the years working with me. And I'd like to thank the parents. Thank you for allowing your students to be a part of music education. They work really hard. The analogy that I gave the band students is when they come up on stage, like that's their final exam, the final culmination of everything they worked on. And the analogy I gave, I said, imagine your math teacher sitting in the middle of a football field, and the football stadium is filled with 2,000 people, and everybody in your math class has to take a math test, and everybody's got to get every problem right. And then the math teacher has to present the scores to everybody. That's basically what they're doing. In order for them to achieve, they need to get a minimum of an A. Then they have to meet my standards, which, whoa, no. As Nate said at the Winter Concert, I am Mr. Grinch, right? Remember that? I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna hold you to that. Anyway, so our last one we're gonna do is when big bands rule the earth, and my last story before we get out of here is when we went to our first jazz band competition in Methacton, Cola Middle School. So they open up the curtain, and they have a really cool stage. It's a curve. So when the curtain opened up, you get judges' tapes, and every single one of the judges was sitting at the back of the auditorium, and as soon as the curtain opened, they all laughed, and they looked at the lead sheet, and they saw that we were playing When Big Bands Ruled the Earth, and the one judge said, wow, you weren't kidding. They are a big band. Because, to have 10 trumpet players, 9 trombone players, that's kind of unheard of, but for this piece it works. So, who's got solos? Solos are going to be Mr. Dan Nixon on tenor saxophone, Mr. Owen Funk on alto saxophone, wave on. And our final soloist will be Miss Athena Peterson on trombone, wave. Thank you very much. Drive safe. This is Big Bands Rule the Earth.